Hey, Carolyn here. I'm a TLC coordinator and the computer tutor supervisor. This video is about Microsoft Teams and how we use it in the TLC. Teams is a place for real-time collaboration, communication, meetings, files, and app sharing. All of this is all in one place, all in the open, all accessible to everyone in your team. Before we begin, I would like for you to meet Kevin Stratford. He is a Microsoft professional, has been doing it for 15 years, been in this line of work longer, and now he works in YouTube making professional educational videos for the Microsoft Corporation.
To join this happy group of people and start using Microsoft Teams, well, first off, your organization needs Microsoft Teams. To sign in, you could simply head to the website teams.microsoft.com, and when you go there, that'll bring you to the sign-in page where you can sign in with your school or workplace account. Next, you'll likely see a screen that prompts you to get the Teams desktop app. The Teams desktop app is more feature-rich, and it also has all of the latest and greatest functionality. If you're going to be using Teams a lot, I recommend getting the app. However, you can also use the web app. For the rest of this tutorial, I'm going to be using the desktop app.
You must use your OTC credentials in order to be able to use the TLC's team account. Using any other credentials, you won't be able to see anything from the TLC.
If you decide to use the web app, you'll have most of the core functionality. If you want to update to the desktop experience at any time, over in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a download desktop app icon. You could simply click on that and then you could download the desktop app. Now that we have Microsoft Teams, I want to take a moment to orient you to the experience. Over on the left-hand side, this is called the navigation bar, and in a moment, we're going to go through each one of these to see what they can do. Now, this one here is called Teams, and the app itself is called Teams, so why don't we start with this one? It's probably a pretty important one. Now you might be wondering, what is a team? Well, the simplest way to describe it is a team is simply a collection of people, content, and also tools, and that'll be based on a project or group. And in a moment we'll go through an example and see what that is.
Kevin showed you his Teams area, and he had it laid out to where they were in line. But OTC has them where they are in cards. You will see cards change and move depending on the semester you're in, but what you'll always have as when you work at the TLC is have this TLC team. Supervisors have their own, and then of course you can see the CIS faculty, but when the semester starts you will see more cards and they will be your courses. For now, let's look at your team. Here is your team. Over here is the navigation bar that we've been using all along, over here, and in here your individual team has its own navigation area. Across the top is kind of like tabs that you have in most programs. And here is where we can meet with individuals in real time. We'll go over that soon.
Let me go ahead and type in a response to Nestor. Now that I've typed in my response, if I really want to get Nestor's attention or anyone else's attention, I can type in the @ symbol and then I could select a person. So here if I type in @Nestor, he's going to get a notification that there is a chat message waiting for him. Along with mentioning an individual, I could also type in and I can mention the entire channel. So here I could simply say employee chat, and anyone who's part of this channel will get a notification. So it's an easy way to get someone's attention. And I'm not just limited to typing in text. Here I can also drag and drop files over, and then I can include a file as part of this conversation. To access this file, Nestor can click on it here within the conversation, and he could also go up above and he could click on files, where here too you can see all of the different files from across all of the different conversations. Back over on the navigation bar on the left hand side, the top icon is for activity. This is where you get notifications about any recent activity from Teams, meetings, files, or apps. Here I see that Nestor mentions me twice, and I can follow up on that. Over here I can also filter all of my activity. If I click on the ellipsis here, I can filter down to specific types of activity. Over on the left hand side in the navigation bar, the next icon is for chat. And a chat is ideal for communicating and sharing in smaller groups. Up here on the top, I can kick off a new conversation by clicking on this icon. Here I'll type in Patty, and then down below I could type in my message. Now that I've kicked off a chat with Patty, I can turn this into a video call. I can also simply set it into a voice call, and here I could share my screen. I could add additional people to the conversation, and here I could even pop out the chat. So let's say I want to jump into a team and continue chatting. I can do that here. On the navigation bar, the next next icon is for calendar, and here's where I can review my upcoming calendar. All of this is synced with Outlook. If I want to schedule a new meeting, up in the top right hand corner, I can click on this icon that says New Meeting.
You most likely won't be creating a new meeting because you're going to be joining a meeting that someone's already started. But sometimes you do. In that case, there are some setups that you need to do here. There's a huge difference between join and new meeting. The new meeting is like it says, it is for a new meeting, and one time in class with my students, we were playing with teams and I told them all to click on this, and when they did, we had 24 different meetings going on.
Before joining the meeting, I can configure my video and audio options. Here, for example, I am going to turn on my webcam. Hello. I could also turn on different background filters. For example, I could blur my background, or I could throw in a locker room here. Nothing like having a meeting from a locker room. I could also go through and configure all of my audio settings, and once I'm ready to join, I could simply click on Join Now. Now that I'm in the meeting, I have a few different options here across the top bar. Here I can see the participants to see everyone else who's already in the session. I could also have a chat with all of the different participants. I could raise my hand. Within the ellipsis, one of the more interesting ones is I can kick off a recording of this meeting. Also, over on the right hand side, I can share content with all of the participants. I could share my whole desktop, a specific window, and I even get access to a whiteboard. Once I'm all done with my meeting, I simply go up to this red button right here and I can click on Leave. Back over on the left hand side, back in the navigation pane, there are two more different icons that we're going to look at. The first one is Calls, and this is where you could call other people in your organization. You'll see a history of all of your calls. You could go through and look at your contacts, and you could even listen to voicemail. Down underneath that, there's also the Files view. Here you could see all of your files within OneDrive, and you could see all of the files that you have access to within Microsoft Teams.
That's enough for this short video. I could spend hours on this, and there's much more to Teams. But what you see in this video is pretty much quite enough to get you started. If you have any questions, just ask one of the tutors or receptionists that have been around for a while, supervisor, coordinator, or director. We are a team here, and ironically, that's what we were talking about.